Hi, it's the Travel Agency Near podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Kay, and today is 68, day 68. And today's episode is all about opportunities for travel advisors, not just booking travel, but also maybe some niches to consider. We're just going to talk about opportunities that you as a travel advisor may want to consider for your business for this year and coming years. So, by the way, this was recorded 2025 through 2026. And so these are going to be some things. If things change, like say it's been like 3 years and any of these trends change, don't fight me. Don't fight me about it, okay? It's not overall travel trends right now. It's just some opportunities that you can look into. So, number one, sustainable transformative travel. This could be like religious pilgrimage type travel. This could be retreats that you may want to partner with someone in the wellness industry. Um, Something that's going to be like, it could even be multi-generational family trips for like heritage travel. Something that's really like people want something that doesn't like kill the environment and also leads to a personal transformation of theirs. Not just, I mean, some people still want to go to the beach and do nothing but drink mojitos or margaritas all day. Don't get me wrong, that's still a thing. However, if that's not really your speed, know that this is a possible opportunity to go into. I really want to stress that destination weddings are not going away. I have heard in recent weeks how industry leaders in the niche, and yes, I'm doing air quotes because just because they sell a bunch of room blocks doesn't mean they know anything. And honestly, some of the industry leaders are not even working in travel. So, anyway, and I don't know who's saying it. I just have heard from advisors I mentor that this is being told to them. Destination weddings are dying. Destination weddings are down. No, they're still one of the top wedding trends as at the time of recording. And they've been one of the top wedding trends for maybe close to a decade. And there's a number of reasons why. Now, resort destination weddings might be slightly down, or specific resort brands that have been very popular with destination weddings that travel advisors book specifically, those resort brands might be going downhill, but that does not mean there is a shortage of couples who want destination weddings at resorts. I was blown away when I heard this from like two or three different advisors, and they were panicking because they're like, this is the niche I was going for. And I did all this training and da 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 da. And now I'm not going to make money. And I was like, I booked 4 weddings in January. What are you talking about? Like, there is no shortage of destination wedding couples. I would say where destination wedding couples are finding the advisors to work with is changing, like on social media platforms from where they used to be 5 or 10 years ago, or even just 2 years ago. That has changed dramatically. And again, I would say some brands maybe are falling behind in the trends while others are becoming more and more in demand. And here's why: the brands that travel advisors like to really offer and they have a good relationship with and that sort of thing, a lot of their properties typically have multiple weddings a day, and that has become a huge turnoff. So if you are in the destination wedding niche and you're finding that you're struggling to close any, consider how many weddings a day that resort typically does, especially in the height of wedding season, or that resort brand, sorry, your preferred resorts, your preferred brands. Just consider that. And that is a factor as to why certain advisors may not be getting as much business, because people are really turned off with 6, 7, 8, 9 weddings a day at resorts. And there are other resorts that specifically only do 1 a day, which is very nice. And if you know those brands, then you have something to offer that's going to meet the changing needs of the destination wedding couple clients. Okay. All inclusives. Nope. I wrote AI. I'm mistake in my notes here. I was thinking all inclusives because it's just AI, and I'm thinking AI, AO, you know. If you know, you know. But AI, okay, AI is an opportunity to help enhance your booking experience and possibly with lead generation. There are some new software it's called SaaS, software as a service platforms being created specifically for those who work in the travel industry that can use AI to build a profile specifically for your brand voice and your business to aid with lead generation. So that could be an opportunity that you may want to look into investing for lead generation opportunities. Also, what can you do to enhance the booking experience with AI? A real quick one is you can use AI to help you create any workflows or automations in your brand voice. If you're struggling with writing, AI is a huge help. You do want to revise and review, right? If you're using AI to write any content, you want to make sure that you are reviewing it and revising it to truly reflect and show your brand voice and not just kind of a canned response that it's like gotten from so many other people going in there and be like, help me write an email. And it's like learning all this stuff. So it's going to use certain lingo. It might be dated. Another opportunity. You get to work remotely. No duh. No duh. You can work anytime, anywhere. That is a huge opportunity for anyone who's curious about becoming a travel advisor. It's not going to be easy. Like, it is a lot of marketing, and also you can live pretty much anywhere. Now, if you get into the business side, and I'm not an attorney, I will say if you establish an LLC immediately, if you're like new and you're like, I want to be a travel advisor, um, you need to understand if you move, you will have to have either completely shut down your LLC in the state of residency where you established it and start a new one when you do move, or at least get a registered agent. Registered agents are often law firms that will accept your mail and notify you of any major, like, oh, you're getting sued, or oh, the IRS is saying something, like they're just going to handle your mail. They can't really make any decisions on your behalf, but they can accept your mail and they can show that you are established business there. If you also move and you decide to have a registered agent that is yourself with your LLC, as well as representation in your state of originating the LLC, the state of origination may require that you be in good standing, which typically means, are your taxes taken care of? Do you have the requirements? You probably won't need this, but if there's any work comp or unemployment insurance requirements to be in good standing with the state, you may have to get that squared away, but you will have to have staff for that. If you don't have any staff, it's not a big deal. That's a lot of random stuff about remote work. But you do have the abilities to work from anywhere. And that's a blessing and a curse, I will say, because if you're like, I'm going to take a vacation, you're going to bring your laptop most likely. And you're going to be checking your emails. And even if you go on a fam trip, um, you might still have to do some additional work while you're on the fam trip and you aren't in meetings or whatever events that they put on for the fam. Another opportunity as to why you'd want to be a travel agent, and I'm going to say this, I think I've said this before, I'm going to say it a million times because I can't stress enough how many skills you're going to be developing. You're going to have to develop your leadership skills. You're going to have to develop your communication and listening skills. You're going to have to develop your marketing skills, your organizational skills. It's a lot of growth. And that's pretty standard with any entrepreneurial venture that anyone takes. Plus, you also get to learn about different destinations that you niche in, different resort brands or cruise lines, tour operators, suppliers. You get to learn so much about the travel industry itself, plus the whole entrepreneurial aspect. Like, that is a huge opportunity for learning and growth, just going into business for yourself. There are opportunities for networking within the industry. So there are organizations like ASTA, IADWP. I'm trying to think of other organizations. Oh, Millennials in Travel is another one. If you are millennial Gen Z age, they're kind of a newer organization and they have a few chapters around the country. So you can do some networking there. Oftentimes you can meet with various BDMs from different suppliers and DMCs at these networking events. You can network with other travel advisors as well. And that could lead to possible alternative career opportunities in the travel industry. So don't sleep on networking events. If you're like, I like the idea of being a travel advisor, I am a travel advisor right now, but I'm open to seeing how this career in travel goes because you might end up, maybe you'd be a BDM someday. Who knows? Who knows? I have seen it happen. So it's possible. Back to FAMs. So I mentioned FAMs and the remote work, but there are FAMs and travel perks that are correlated to your sales production. If you are considering a career in travel, I must stress if you are interviewing host agencies, there are many that are like MLM schemes. What's an MLM scheme? Multi-level marketing scheme. It is you can work for them, you can book travel, you can be a legitimate travel advisor under these agencies. They typically tend to push you recruiting more people to be on your team or your downline. So it's kind of like Avon or Tupperware, like the business model, very pyramid schemey. And there are people who are like, yep, I'm with this MLM. I know it's an MLM. I don't align with that. And I want to work in travel and be a travel advisor. But just know they tend to offer a lot of travel perks right out of the gate. And that's not necessarily because they have so many people, the volume that they do, they can negotiate those perks. But understand that is not a common thing. And it's typically based on your sales production. If you aren't selling anything, no one's going to give you a free opportunity to like go on a 5-night sailing for a cruise. So if you are like, consider that. Consider like you can be at an MLM and they're going to be like, here's a free 3-night stay at a resort. And I will say some BDMs at specific resort brands have disclosed they don't like that model at all. And they know that the majority of them are just recruiting other advisors under them. And unfortunately, because they have a high volume of sales, it's difficult for them to say no to get these travel perks arranged. Now, if you go out on your own and you have no host and you just want to DIY it, you will have to negotiate your own commissions and you will have to also prove that you actually sell enough to get increased commissions. I do recommend at least starting out with a host agency. You do whatever you want. I don't care because you typically get close to double the commission. You do have to take a split. You don't get to keep 100%. However, you're keeping the majority of it, and it still typically works out to a higher commission percentage if you are hosted versus going out on your own, getting your own IATA and credentials, and approaching these different suppliers and being like, "Hey, I'm brand new." They're going to be like, "Here's your tiny commission," and then once you prove yourself, we'll bump you up. And then there's also FAM trips. What's a FAM trip? It's a familiarization trip. It is for training purposes. It is not like, please keep in mind, this should be professional. You're not drinking all day long. You're not trying to rest on the beach. It is an opportunity for you to get content in the destination if you do social media marketing and a lot of knowledge and experience about that particular facet of travel. So fam trips can be like a river cruise, an ocean cruise, a resort stay, a tour with a specific tour company. And you get to familiarize yourself with all aspects of that trip and how it's put together so that you are more confident when it comes time to offer said fam or said type of travel to your clients, you're just gonna be like, yeah, I've been there, done that. You definitely want to work with me. So you can sign up for FAMs. Sometimes they have sales requirements to be approved to be invited to FAM trips. Sometimes they don't. And don't sign up for every FAM trip just because it's sparkly and cool and sounds neat and cheap, because then you might end up spending thousands and thousands of dollars and not making thousands and thousands of dollars. So be very careful. Like if you don't want to do romance travel, don't go on any romance FAMs. Fun fact, a travel advisor is the fastest growing job in the US. So if you are a seasoned travel advisor and you're like, my life is done and over, I want you to consider all these different opportunities and like the benefits of being an entrepreneur in the travel space. And if you are brand newbies and you're like, I don't even know if I want to start, these are very, very basic things. I could go on and on about like the contracts that host agencies or agencies that allow agents to join their teams look like, the bare minimum splits. It's really, I can't boss people around and tell them what to do. You do need to be careful with reading those contracts and reviewing them. And the only thing I can suggest if you are brand new and you're looking at a contract, if there's a non compete, that's a big, big red flag. It's a big red flag because non competes, if you are an independent contractor, typically don't hold up in court because they can't tell you what to do. They cannot give you proprietary information. Therefore, you are like, and you have the right to work for more than one company because you are independently contracted. You are not guaranteed employment. So please at least look for that in your contracts if you're a new advisor. All right. So that is all the opportunities and benefits. I like doing it for a living. I know I do this podcast, but I do enjoy doing it for a living. I do enjoy mentoring people to make a comfortable living in this space. And I like having this podcast to talk about it with people I don't even know. So I hope you enjoyed this episode and have a great day.